Jai Hind students, welcome to my physics classes. Students, it's not about the goal, it's about growing to become the person that can accomplish that goal. And to become that person, you need to develop that character. And students, remember, character is repeated habits, and repeated habits alone can reform character. So, students, develop yourself as an individual and try to accomplish all the goals. With that positive note, students, let's start today's session. Today, in this session, we are going to discuss some additional questions based on magnetic effects of electric current, right? We are aware that whenever a current carrying conductor is placed under the influence of perpendicular magnetic field, then it experiences magnetic force, isn't it? So the first two questions are based on this concept only. So let's begin. Let's start with the first question then. A conductor of length 100 centimeter, length of the conductor it's given to be 100 centimeter, carrying a current of 0.1 ampere. The current flowing through the conductor it's given to be 0.1 ampere, is placed perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field of 0.2 Tesla. T stands for Tesla, it's the SI unit of magnetic field. So the magnetic field strength it's given to be 0.2 Tesla. What is the force experienced by the conductor? So we are supposed to find out the force experienced by the conductor to be calculated. So we are aware, students, whenever a current carrying conductor is placed under the influence of perpendicular magnetic field, then the magnetic force experienced by the current carrying conductor is given by BIL. Magnetic field, this is the current and this is the length of the conductor. So let's make use of this particular formula. The magnetic field strength is given to be 0.2 Tesla. The current it's given to be 0.1 ampere. And the length is given to be 100 centimeter. 100 centimeter is 1 meter. That is 100 divided by 100. You need to convert it in meters. It will be equal to 1 meter. So what you get is 0.2 multiplied by 0.1 multiplied by 1. Isn't it? So we get 0.02 Newton. So this is the force experienced by the current carrying conductor under the influence of this perpendicular magnetic field. Right? So it's based on this particular formula. F is equal to BIL. Okay. Let us proceed to the next question then. Next question is, a conductor of length L carrying current of 0.2 ampere when placed perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field of 0.4 Tesla experiences a force of 0.04 Newton. We are supposed to find out the length of the conductor. So in the second question also, F is given, B is given, I is given, L is to be calculated, right? Let's write down the given information. Length, it is to be calculated. Okay, current flowing through the conductor, it's given to be 0.2 ampere and it is placed perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field, and the magnetic field strength is given to be 0.4 Tesla. And the force experienced by this current carrying conductor, it's given to be 0.04 Newton, right? So we know that the force experienced by a current carrying conductor under the influence of perpendicular magnetic field is given by F is equal to BIL. That's the formula. We are supposed to find out the length. So length of the conductor, it would be given by F divided by BI, isn't it? Therefore, length of the conductor would be equal to, let's substitute these values over here, all are in SI. Force is 0.04 Newton, isn't it? Magnetic field, it's 0.4 Tesla, and the current is 0.2. So that will give us 0.04 divided by 0.08. So it would be equal to half meter or 0.5 meter. So that's the answer. The length of the conductor under consideration is 0.5 meter. Let's proceed with the next question then. A charged particle having charge of 3.2 into 10 to the minus 19 coulomb
is traveling with a speed of 1 into 10 to the 6 meter per second. Now when it passes perpendicular to the magnetic field of 0.4 Tesla, then we are supposed to find the force experienced by it. So as usual, let's first write down the information given in the question. The charge is given to be 3.2 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb, right? It is traveling with a speed of 1 into 10 raised to the power 6 meter per second. And magnetic field strength, it's given to be 0.4 Tesla. We are supposed to find out the force experience. This is to be calculated. The net force is to be calculated, right? Students, in terms of current, we are aware whenever a current carrying conductor is placed under the influence of perpendicular magnetic field, then the force is given by this. We have already proved and we are aware of it. It's given by BIL. Now here, current is not given, neither the length is given. So we are aware that current is rate of flow of charge, that is Q by T. Therefore, students, the magnetic force experienced can be given by B in place of current. It's the rate of flow of charge, Q by T into L. It can further be rearranged in this manner. L by T, isn't it? L is the length of the conductor and T is the time taken by the charge to traverse that length, isn't it? And length covered by the charge per unit time, that will be its velocity. So what we get is BQV, as velocity is the length traversed by the charged particle per unit time, isn't it? So students, in terms of charge and velocity, the force experienced is given by BQV. So please do remember this particular formula. So let's substitute the values of B, Q and V. B is given to be 0.4. It's in SI Tesla. Charge, its magnitude is given to be 3.2 into 10 raised to the power minus 19. And velocity, it's given to be 1 into 10 raised to the power 6. Therefore, F would be equal to, now look students, 3.2 multiplied by 4, that will give us 1.28, right? Multiplied by 1, it will remain 1.28 only. Now, if the base is same, then the power get added up. Minus 19 plus 6, that will give you minus 13, isn't it? So, this is the answer. So, the force experienced by the charged particle, which is traveling with the given speed and perpendicular to the magnetic field, is 1.28 into 10 raised to the power minus 13 Newton. Clear? Okay. Let's proceed to the next question then. Find the force acting on a stationary charge capital Q in the magnetic field B. Now, as the charge is stationary, stationary means charge is at rest, its velocity would be equal to 0, isn't it? As F is equal to QVB. Therefore, velocity 0 means force would be equal to 0. So remember students, a charged particle at rest do not experience any magnetic force. It implies that a charge at rest do not experience any magnetic force. It will not experience any magnetic force. Clear students? You could have done by using this formula as well. F equals to BIL. Now stationary charge at rest will not constitute any current, and in the absence of current I equals to 0, F will also become 0. So you can answer this question in either of these two ways, right? Okay, let's proceed to the fifth question then. Fifth question is, a horizontal power line carries current in east to west direction, right? This is the direction basically. This is north, south, this is west, and this is east. So as per the question, a horizontal power line carries current in the east to west direction. So the current is along this direction. This is the cable, suppose this is the current carrying cable or current carrying wire, and the current is flowing along this direction from east to west direction, right? From east to west direction. This is the power line. This is suppose the power line, and the current as per the question is found to be flowing from east to west direction. This is current I. Now what is the direction of the magnetic field due to the current in the power line at a point above and at a point below the power line? Suppose this is point X, it is a point above the power line, and this is point Y, which is below the power line, right? So at point X, which is above the power line, the direction of the magnetic field, students, as you are aware, it is to be given by right hand thumb rule, like this. The thumb indicates the direction of the flow of current, and the direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that gives the direction of the magnetic field. It's like this. So here the magnetic field lines, will enter like this. It will enter, and from point Y it will appear to come out, isn't it? So as per the right hand thumb rule, the direction of the magnetic field at point X, which is at a point above the power line, is from south to north. It will be from south to north. Again, students, this is the suppose the direction of the current, which is from east to west, right? And this is point X, which is lying above the power line. And this is point Y, which is lying below the power line, right? So it's like this. So the direction in which the rest of the fingers curl, that gives the direction of the magnetic field. It's like this, isn't it? So this is north, this is south. So at a point X, the direction of the magnetic field would be from south to north, right? And at a point Y, which is below the power line, will be from north to south. This is represented by the dotted line, like this. This is north, this is south, this is west, and this is east. So at a point below the power line, that is at point Y, this is point Y, the direction of the magnetic field would be from north to south. It will be from north to south. Okay, students, now let's discuss question number 6. Current flowing in a conductor A is 2 ampere and flowing in conductor B is 4 ampere. Okay, current flowing in conductor A is given to be 2 ampere and the current flowing in conductor B is given to be 4 ampere, right? Find the ratio of the magnetic field produced around conductor A to the magnetic field produced around conductor B at a distance 10 cm from both the conductors. So the distance of the observation point from conductor A is 10 cm and the distance of the observation point from conductor B is also given to be 10 cm. So R is constant, right? So we are supposed to find out the ratio of the magnetic field. Now students, we are aware magnetic field is directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor and it is inversely proportional to the distance of the point from the conductor. Now R being constant, B would be directly proportional to I, right? Therefore, the magnetic field that is represented by A due to conductor A divided by magnetic field due to conductor B at a distance of 10 cm would be equal to current flowing through conductor A divided by current flowing through conductor B. Isn't it? Because magnetic field at a point is directly proportional to the current flowing through it. And since R is constant in both the cases, therefore B is proportional to I. Therefore B1 by B2 would be equal to I1 by I2. That is BA by BB equals to IA by IB. Current flowing in the conductor A is 2 ampere, while current flowing in the conductor B is 4 ampere. So the ratio of the magnetic field produced around conductor A to the magnetic field produced around conductor B at a same distance would be 1 by 2. Right? So this is the answer. BA by BB equals to 1 by 2. Okay, let's proceed with the next question then. A proton enters a magnetic field at right angles to it, as shown in the figure. This is the magnetic field. It is represented by equidistant parallel straight lines. So obviously this is uniform magnetic field. At any point in the magnetic field, its strength as well as direction is same, right? So the set of equidistant parallel straight lines represent uniform magnetic field. What is the direction of the force acting on the proton? Now look, students, this is the direction of the proton. Proton, they are positively charged particles. These are positively charged particles. And as I've stated earlier as well, current always is along the direction of the movement of positive charged particle, while the direction of the current is opposite to that of the negatively charged particles. So proton being positive charged particle, the current would be along the same direction as that of the motion of the proton. So this will be the direction of the current as well. This is the direction of the current. So students, current is perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. We need to find out the force acting. Now here we can make use of Fleming's left hand rule. This is the rule which we need to use in order to determine the force experienced by a current carrying conductor under the influence of perpendicular magnetic field. So let's apply this rule so as to find out the direction of the force. Look, the thumb of the left hand, it represents the direction of the force. The first finger or the forefinger of left hand represents the direction of the magnetic field, and the central finger represents the direction of the current, right? F, B, I. Now look students, this represents the direction of the magnetic field, that is from left to right, right? This is representing the direction of the magnetic field. This central finger represents the direction of the current, like this. This is along the direction of the current. So this thumb which is pointing in the upward direction, that will represent the direction of the force, isn't it? So the proton must experience a force which is perpendicular to the plane of the paper and in the upward direction as shown by the thumb. So using Fleming's left hand rule, the force is directed upward and perpendicular to the plane of the paper. Perpendicular to the plane of the paper. So, whenever the force, its direction is to be found by a current carrying conductor under the influence of magnetic field, then Fleming's left hand rule is to be used, right? Okay, let's proceed to question number 8. It's a simple basic question. We are supposed to list 3 sources of magnetic field. Now students, in the first lecture itself we have discussed, whenever we consider a current carrying conductor, magnetic field is established around its vicinity or around its surroundings. So obviously a current carrying conductor acts as a source of magnetic field. Then we have discussed about bar magnet, we have discussed about permanent magnets, temporary magnets, isn't it? These all are the sources of magnetic field. Then we have also discussed the current carrying solenoid, which acts as a magnetic dipole or a bar magnet. One end of the current carrying solenoid behave as the south pole, while the other end behave as the north pole. So let us list the 3 sources of magnetic field. First is permanent magnet. As we are aware, permanent magnet, they are either made up of hard steel or alnico. It's an alloy consisting of aluminium, nickel and cobalt, Al-Nico, AlNico, right? So permanent magnet, it's definitely acts as a source of magnetic field. Second is a current carrying conductor. Whenever a compass needle is placed near a current carrying conductor, then it shows some deflection, indicating the presence of magnetic field around its surroundings. So current carrying conductor, it acts as a source of magnetic field. And third, students, current carrying solenoid, this also behave as a magnet. So current carrying solenoid. So these are the three sources of magnetic field, right? Okay, now let's proceed to the last question then. A horizontal power line carries current in the north to south direction under the influence of magnetic field directed from west to east. Here again we are supposed to determine the direction of the force experienced. So definitely Fleming's left hand rule is to be used over here as well, right? So let's make use of Fleming's left hand rule, and first and foremost let's represent all the given thing in a proper diagram. Suppose this is north, this is south, and let us consider this to be west and this to be east, and this is to a vertical direction. This is the dotted line, it represents vertical line. North, south, west is they all will lie on a horizontal plane. All are perpendicular to each other, right? So here, as per the question, a horizontal power line carries current in the north to south direction. So this is the cable and the current is flowing in the direction from north to south. This is the direction of the current. I stands for the current. This is the direction of the current. And it is under the influence of magnetic field directed from west to east. This is the direction of the magnetic field. This represents the direction of the magnetic field. Magnetic field is represented by a capital letter B. So what's the angle between these two? 90 degree, isn't it? So whenever there is a case of current carrying conductor placed under the influence of magnetic field, then definitely it experiences a magnetic force, the direction of which is given by Fleming's left hand rule. So let's try to use this rule. This is F, this is my left hand, and we need to stretch the thumb, the forefinger and the central finger of our left hand such that they all are mutually perpendicular to each other. In that case, if the forefinger or the first finger represents the direction of the magnetic field, the central finger, middle finger represents the direction of the current, then the thumb represents the direction of the magnetic force. So here, students, this is the finger, first finger, representing the direction of the magnetic field, right? It is representing the direction of the magnetic field. This is the central finger, represents the direction of the current, that is from north to south, along this direction, north to south. So this is the direction of the magnetic field, this is the direction of the current, that is from north to south. So thumb is pointing in the upward direction, isn't it? So the cable wire will experience a force in the upward direction. Remember, students, FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. F stands for force, B stands for magnetic field, I stands for current. So it's a simple analogy through which you can remember this particular rule, right? So the direction of the force experienced by the power line would be in the upward direction. This is the force. So they all are mutually perpendicular to each other. They all are mutually perpendicular to each other. So it will experience force. The horizontal power line will experience force in the vertically upward direction. In the vertically upward direction. It will experience force in the vertically upward direction, right? So students, I hope you have understood all the questions which we have tried to attempt in this particular session, right? So do practice more and more such questions, and that's it for this particular session. Do join me in my next lecture then. Till then, goodbye, and do take very good care of yourself. Thank you for watching my video.